What is going down, Excellency? Jack here, bringing you a Search and Destroy Dissection episode 3 now. I know I've not done one of these in quite a long time, but if you'd missed it on my personal channel, I did a little commentary just explaining where I've been. Excellency as a whole now, we're going to be uploading a lot more regularly as slowly everyone kind of finishes their exams and whatever, and we're really just going to be pushing towards the Black Ops 2 release, bringing you fresh new FPS content. So anyway, this is a Search and Destroy Dissection on lockdown. This was the first round of a game which I ended up rage quitting from. You'll see as we go through this, my teammates are pretty useless. Well, I'm playing against a full party of very organised, very good players. You know, they knew what they were doing. They weren't completely clueless, which I guess is less than what can be said for my team. So anyway, let's get straight into this clip. I'm using the UMP silencer just to get right into their spawn, you know, kind of catch them off guard, taking them out one by one stealthily. I'm not using dead silence in this, I am using SitRep Pro, as now that counts as dead silence and I find that a lot better to use as a player. And right off the bat here, you'll see me sound throwing one of their aggressive players. So as we pause at this point, we can see that I've stunned the enemy running around the bend. I've slowed down his rush, and I have one teammate kind of in the back ivy area, and one in the gallery directly to my left if we look on the radar. As I said, my teammates were pretty useless, so I kind of just go for the C4 here, and it's important to note that I almost waste this C4. C4s are incredibly useful for picking off targets that you see in an area where you would otherwise not be able to shoot them, and by using it this early, you know, I'm almost losing one of my tools which I have at my disposal during this kind of one-man mission. So I see a guy shoot off to my left, and I don't immediately want to push him. I'm just going to sit here with SitRep and see if I hear anything. Cautiously, I guess I push round to just catch this sniper out, as he's really not going to be expecting me in his spawn, having done this such aggressive rush. And I'm now hearing a guy in corridor. It's important to note it's a 1v5, or it will be in a second, as my teammate drops, having, I guess, failed to pick off the enemy who was on the motion sensor. However, I managed to push through here and just get one kill. And it's important to note at this point where I position myself. I can hear a guy with my SitRep Pro down to my right. I've taken out an enemy behind me, and I'm kind of assuming that there's not going to be one coming from the gallery area. I position myself here so that if someone is to look down the corridor, they won't be able to see me behind the cobbled box that my enemy was previously taking cover behind. I can also hear a guy down to my right, and I'm now just going to sit here and wait for him to make a push. So I get my SitRep Pro out and really just start to sound hot. I hear him to my right, but I actually thought he was down outside the window, but as we will see, he is directly next to me. He probably should have finished me there, but he is using a sniper, and, you know, I am able to pick him off. So, pausing here, it's a 1v3 situation now. I'm one off my dead silence bonus, and that will mean that should the enemy kind of get, like, you know, get baited into my gunfire, I can just use my SitRep to hear them, and then having got my dead silence, any remaining enemies that didn't think I had dead silence because they could hear me running around with my SitRep on, and I'm going to be caught out due to the fact I do in fact have dead silence unlocked. It's also important to note how I've relocated myself. I shot an enemy behind me and I immediately relocate to this area here. This is a very good corner as it gives me a good vantage point into one of the main entrances into the building. I can hear a guy below me with my SitRep Pro, and I kind of guess the best option is just to be really aggressive and kind of catch him out. So now I've got my dead silence, I've got 4 of the 6 men down, and it's now the chance that I see to take the B bomb plant. If we pause here, it's very important to see how I'm positioning myself on the B bomb. If you can't really tell, I am planting on this corner for a very specific reason. When you plant here, you can actually see a very good line of sight onto the bomb, and it's quite hard for them to see you. And you're pretty much guaranteed to see them if they go for the defuse on the B bomb in this position from this vantage point. So I'm going to plant here on this corner, and I'm not really going to get pushed. However, as I make my way to my vantage point, as you will see here behind this green bin, I hear an enemy with my SitRep. I see one by the bomb and tag him up a few times, and then see another by the pillar and decide it's just best to retreat. I sit behind the vantage point area. With my silencer, they've not actually managed to pick up where I am, and it's at this point here that I drop an enemy. Pausing it, I have just seen the guy go for the bomb. As you can see now, the B bomb where it says defend and the arrow, the bomb is not there. If the bomb model vanishes off the ground when you're in this position, you know the guy's going for the defuse. So having taken out his teammate, I kind of assume he may push me. So I just go for the stun and then I'm ready to push around the bend. However, this leads to, I guess, a miscalculation and a very kind of newbie but silly error on my behalf, as I see the guy now defuse the bomb. So that was a disappointing round. I mean, it could have been the 6-man and the 5-man clutch. As it was, you know, it's one of these things which I can learn from. I kind of predicted that when I dropped the second to last enemy, this Mooney guy was simply going to push into me and try and kill me because he knew roughly where I'd be. However, I guess he did kind of the smart thing in a way by just going for the full defuse, and because of my over prediction, he was able to get the defuse and get the round. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I guess, I'm not sure if I failed to mention this in previous episodes, both of which were clutches. This search and destroy dissection isn't necessarily going to be, say, clutches or aces. It's just going to be rounds which I think you can learn from me analysing them, talking about them, kind of explaining my path of thoughts. So if you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button, maybe give it a cheeky favourite if you particularly enjoyed the episode. And other than that, guys, I will see you very soon. I've got quite a lot of gameplay now for Search and Destroy, having not uploaded in such a long time, and you'll see a lot more of this on Excellency. So yes, guys, it's me, Jack, signing off, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon.